I would want to express my gratitude for this chance to offer my thoughts on classroom management. I'm Jianbing Rao, and I'm going to start working in secondary education. In my opinion, effective classroom management is about fostering a supportive atmosphere where kids feel valued, comfortable, and inspired to study rather than placing a strong emphasis on rigid control. The role of the teacher is to ensure that students understand expectations and feel supported on an individual basis by establishing a clear framework and acting with compassion and equity. I provide special attention to cultural competency and inclusion. I want every kid to feel confidence and that they belong in the classroom. Regardless of their origins, collaborations with coworkers, families, and the larger school community is something I can cherish since it greatly fosters student success. My objective as a graduate teacher is to create an environment where kids develop resilience, self-assurance, and a feeling of responsibility. In addition to academic success, my philosophy draws on inclusion and relationship-based approach that place students at the center of learning. I understand completely that good classroom management must be in line with state and federal standards for inclusive and safe education as a prospective secondary school teacher. Ethical and evidence-based teaching methods are based on Australia's Australian Professional Standards for Teachers. Most of my beliefs are in line with Standards 1.4 and 4.3 in order to ensure that Indigenous and Torres Strait Islander children, as well as those from various backgrounds, are noticed and appreciated. Educators are reminded to manage classrooms in a culturally responsive manner, as Standard 1.4 highlights the need of knowing how culture, identity, and language affect student learning. Standard 4.3 places a strong emphasis on using proactive and realistic approaches to manage difficult behaviors in order to increase student well-being and engagement. I support restorative methods, clear procedures, and coordinated communication that upholds relationships and constant standards. In order to provide fair educational opportunities and student safety, I will also abide by laws in Queensland, such as the Disability Discrimination Act 1992, the Child Protection Act 1999, and the Education Act 2006. By combining these criteria with legal obligations, as guided by ISO, my classroom management may exhibit professionalism, fairness, and trust while embodying care and cultural respect. Have social, emotional, behavioral, and intellectual needs all at once. According to my classroom management philosophy, strong bonds, well-organized schedules, and cultural awareness, in my opinion, must all be combined to support kids' overall development. I am reminded to concentrate on prevention rather than punishment via the positive learning framework. In actuality, I welcome students to the classroom, set up orderly procedures, and work with them to develop the rules throughout the first week of classes. Students' feeling of responsibility is increased when they participate in the creation of the rules. My approach to behavioral issues is guided by Glasser's choice theory. I provide meaningful alternatives in place of assigning blame, like selecting between two learning assignments or filling out on a quick self-reflection form. As they gain self-management abilities, this aids pupils in understanding the link between actions and outcomes. After disagreements, restorative methods enable me to concentrate on mending relationships. I often employ short conversations such as what happened and who was impacted, how do we put things right. Student accountability and empathy are fostered by the method. I am reminded by Yates' control connection continuum to strike a balance between authority and empathy. I use good body language, regular classroom pacing, and attentive listening to students' opinions to establish fairness and respect. Using these concepts together will make my teaching accessible and culturally sensitive. I will incorporate the cultural narratives of the pupils, support a range of viewpoints, and if needed, make use of visual and multilingual materials by combining theory and practice. I hope to provide a peaceful, coordinated, and stimulating learning atmosphere. Between teachers and parents and guardians is crucial for both student performance and classroom management. Establishing open communication and trust between the home and the school context help kids feel supported in both. APST 3.7 Involving parents in the educational process and APST 7.3 Maintaining respectful and professional communication are quite similar to my concept. In reality, instead of merely speaking with parents after disagreements, I actively reach out to them to provide encouraging updates and work with them to find solutions when problems occur. I send out a quick email introducing myself and detailing classroom procedures and contact rules at the beginning of the school year. I frequently use internet resources or electronic emails to update students on their progress. When problems arise, I utilize solutions-focused conversations, which include hearing parents' viewpoints, reaffirming common objectives, and working together to create plans to enhance behavior and learning in students. I take extra precaution to guarantee continuous and accessible communication for families with different cultural or language backgrounds, such as offering translated documents, visual aids, or interpretation services. Respecting cultural diversity improves students' engagement and fosters better relationships. I always think of parents as partners. Classroom management becomes more positive and sustainable when instructors, students, and family work together via communication that is clear, sympathetic, and culturally sensitive. This benefits all of the children. Step in managing a classroom effectively is in prevention. The core of my approach is prevention, which helps students learn self-control and promotes their engagement before issues arise. I utilize the positive behavior learning framework and positive classroom management strategies to improve learning time and minimize uncertainty by implementing regular classroom routines. At the start of every semester, I collaborate with the student to develop the rules for the classroom. I use phrases like respecting learning and respect other voices to promote accountability and ownership. To keep students interested, I make learning objectives explicit, offer frequent formative feedback, and create short varied projects when they can check their progress and understand the learning objective. Students are more motivated and less prone to get disengaged. I instruct people in self-regulation techniques including goal setting, reflective journaling, and emotional checking. Students develop their independence and empathy by learning to recognize emotions and use soothing techniques before they can get more intense, including taking quick pause, deep breathing, or finding a quiet spot. When problems emerge, I use restorative techniques, substituting contemplative discussion for punishment. What happened? What could we do differently next time? This strategy strengthens accountability and mends connections. In order to guarantee that all kids, especially those who are neurodiverse and EALD, flourish in respecting settings, I additionally differentiate supporting using a multi-tier system of supports, which incorporates visual timetables, peer mentors, or tiered behavior plans. My classroom is transformed into a shared responsibility learning community where participation, empathy, and self-regulation all thrive when these proactive, inclusive, relationship-centered practices are incorporated.